Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Kraszewski, and I'm going to be giving a presentation on my historical cause and effect essay titled The Boston Mooninite Panic. So, in 2007, the city of Boston was invaded by aliens, or so it would seem. There were reports of bombs throughout Boston, of possible improvised explosive devices being placed around the city. These devices turned out to be nothing more than light-up placards depicting characters from an animated television series. This in turn would cause a Cartoon Network to alter their programming lineup drastically, as with any major regime change. In short, the event that would go on to be known as the Boston Mooninite Panic caused the fall of the golden age of Cartoon Network. The panic erupted in chaos in Boston on the 31st of January 2007. The television program known as Aqua Teen Hunger Force had a feature-length film in the works after a long, successful run on the late-night section of Cartoon Network known as Adult Swim. The decision was made to make a guerrilla ad campaign to place small LED placards featuring the characters from the show called the Mooninites, which were mistaken by passerby and onlookers as explosives. The stunt caused the police and city fire departments to close down bridges and in turn incited panic throughout the city. Broadcasting system that the company hired to carry out the campaign paid $2 million to the city. The executives of the campaign, as well as the company itself, issued apology statements in full, stating they had no idea it would escalate this far. The campaign caused backlash that would propel itself far past the event itself. There had been similar guerrilla campaigns in the past, but none had caused quite this level of panic. In addition to obviously poor reception to the press, the city of Boston was less than kind. The backlash from the Boston panic was far from insignificant in the downfall of Cartoon Network. The entirety of the legal system in both Boston proper and Massachusetts were in full swing against this. The mayor of Boston at the time, Thomas Menino, called the incident outrageous. There was even action initiated by the Massachusetts State Attorney's Office, and they did in fact state that Turner Broadcasting offered funds to cover the damages. This is the kind of horrid mix-up in their infancy kills lesser studios in controversy, and had something like this happened in modern day social media connections, they probably wouldn't have survived. But as it stands, the casualty for the incident was not even the perpetrator itself, but one unfortunate general manager in the wrong position during the backlash. That person's name was Jim Staples. Jim Staples was the acting head of the Cartoon Network at the time of the incident. He tendered his resignation days after the event, claiming full responsibility for the actions that were taken under his watch. This isn't uncommon in the types of falling on the sword for these type of incidences, especially nowadays, but what's also common is that there's going to be administrative changes and there's going to be regime change growing pains, especially since the company was being bashed in the press and their CEO was definitely needed to feel the need to distance himself from the company. And then there was an inevitable power vacuum after the incident. After the loss of their long-standing head of the company, there was a lot of growing pains, as I was saying before. The role for the interim president didn't even mention Jim Staples' departure during the trade meeting that occurred not too long after that. And given the fact that the company was at the same time making larger business decisions in the meantime, not the least of which a major motion picture that was still needed to go on, there was obviously a great deal of things up in the air, which is going to make neglect happen amongst the publishing house and amongst the programming. With this type of neglect and bad publicity, there's going to be a dip in reception from the public, which is what happened. The quarterly report of the ratings for Cartoon Network showed a significant dip in the ratings after the Boston Mooninite Panic. The ratings were directly correlated to the panic itself. The situation call the situation an absence of any kind of attention, even bad attention being a good thing. Ratings dictate the movement of an entire organization when it comes to TV. That's going to be the king of the entire. It's going to end up being chiefly the important thing amongst the entire thing. Parents are going to want to distance their children away from situations and experiences that might cause them harm mentally and physically. This is what I believe that the caused a significant fall in the ratings in this time, which I believe caused the gear shift that happened later on that year. The overall report of the Cartoon Network programming, it spelled the end for Cartoon Network as it was known at the time. The network had fallen behind nearly every demographic. The vice president of ad sales at the time kept it pretty close to the chest, claiming that such situations take time to rectify. The network hedged their bets pretty heavily on Star Wars: The Clone Wars series that they were coming out with, which, to be fair, did end up reaching critical and audience acclaim, but apart from that, there was pretty much silence at the time. Maybe because by this conclusion of this year, no less than 5 of the network's most popular show titles would see their final episodes. Not only that, but Toonami, they're one of the popular late-night evening staples of Cartoon Network lineup, was canceled. This was compounded upon by Adult Swim. The programming block on which Aqua Teen Hunger Force was aired originally showed a dip from nearly all night long to only 9 to 11 p.m. There were many who were children at the time of these events that see this as the last few years which Cartoon Network was truly and honestly good, myself included. But the Mooninite invasion ended up causing the entirety of this, to my personal opinion. But thus ends the tale of the downfall of Cartoon Network. What started out as a bold new ad campaign would result in one of the most notable botches in marketing in recent history. It cost the network a large sum of money and made many Bostonians fearful unnecessarily. Not only that, it cost Turner Broadcasting a veteran executive. While the company sought new management, there was chaos at the studio level. This in turn resulted in losses in ratings at many market levels. All in all, this cascade of events spelled the end for many long-standing programs and left the future uncertain. It was the end of an era for Cartoon Network. These are my results, which are my research results, which are available on the PowerPoint that I have attached. Thank you for your time.